Hey guys, Neomis here. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing my review on Arsenal's new interview from our managing director Vinai and our head of football Raul Sanllehi. Stay tuned. So in the interview, they talked about the objectives that the club had at the beginning of the season, as well as the objectives that they had for this current season as well. The club mainly had two objectives. One was being the integration with Unai Emery into the whole Arsenal setup, and the other was actually, and for me, really surprisingly, was that the goal was really to get Unai Emery and the Arsenal team into the top four for Alex, so that we could qualify for the Champions League. Which, you know what, it really just shows that the ambition for the club and the fans were really in sync and in unison in that respect. Vinai, the managing director, came out and started saying, after talking about the objectives and what the club was really aspired to get, that even though that they have 100% confident in Unai Emery's ability, and that goes for both Vinai and Raul, in that they were still very disappointed not to actually qualify in the Champions League via the league position. Now, they're choosing to look at it in several ways. One being the fact that we were so close and yet we missed out. They're looking at it as a positive, but still they are very much positive in Unai Emery's ability to be able to handle the team and to see the team growth going forward. Another thing that they really talked about in the interview was looking at the academy players and the progression from the academy leading on to the first team. Now, this is something that I've been talking about for months on the channel, as well as before I really started uploading videos on YouTube. The club is really looking to push an agenda when it comes to looking at getting those academy players into the first team. We are building a self-sustaining model, and it is imperative that we have our academy players getting in the squad. This is going to help us save money and also going to help build value in a lot of these players. Not all of these players are going to be at Arsenal when they retire. A lot of them we will probably end up selling for profit, bringing in other players as well. That's just how it goes. We've seen that with Liverpool, we've seen it with Tottenham and other teams there as well. And I feel Arsenal are going to go around that same type of model. And even with that, Vinai went on to kind of mention certain players, and this is how I knew that these players, in Reiss Nelson, he mentioned Emiliano Martinez, and he also mentioned Emile Rowe, three players who are out on loan, who they see that have that first team quality that they want to be able to get experience playing at the senior level. Obviously, Martinez has been at the club for a while and he doesn't get a lot of games, but for him to go out and Reading and produce how he's done so on loan, I think the club are very happy with him. I think they're also very happy with Reiss Nelson, who is actually been one of the nominees for Rookie of the Year in the Bundesliga. And then you got Rowe there, who I'm sure has a big future on his hands. The other thing was managing the wage bill. This is something that they really want to be able to stress on. We all know that Arsenal currently right now have one of the highest wage bills in the league. I believe we have the third highest in the league at the moment. It's a bit too high, and especially some of the high earners that we have, and they really are looking to manage that as well. Vinai started talking about what the kind of transfer plans are. They're really looking to sign, and I'll quote these exact phrase, they're looking to sign excellent players who can make a big impact. And that as an Arsenal fan, I really like the sound of that. But they're also looking to sell players to maximize full funds once selling those players. And that's something that at least we know that once we do sell players like the likes of Mkhitaryan, Ozil, Shkodran, Mustafi, and so on and so forth, and whoever else needs to get sold, that money is then going to be reinvested into the team. So again, another sign of positivity and growth. A little bit more long term, but does show that Arsenal are thinking on the right direction going forward. Also, one thing that Vinai started to say is that in terms of the club managing itself a lot better as a business, he talked about them having to make the tough decisions in regards to player contracts no longer, and this is the second, third and fourth time that I've heard this. At the beginning of the season, they heard this as well. Mid-season, we heard this, in that they will no longer be letting players run down their contracts, especially if they're not near the retirement stage. So I was looking at which players have their contracts in the last 2 years, and if they don't renew, if Arsenal offer them a contract, they'll be sold. If Arsenal don't want to offer them a new contract, they'll be sold as well. So the likes of Shkodran Mustafi, Henrik Mkhitaryan, Mesut Ozil, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Sokratis. These are all players that have 2 years left on their contract. No one is kind of highlighting this. And these are things that kind of need to be brought to the forefront. If these guys do not sign new contracts, or if they have been offered new contracts, then they'll be sold. Simple as that. Then during this time, we had Raul Sanllehi talking about how Arsenal need to be very smart in the market, that we need to outsmart the market. And what that means is that we're going to need to buy those quality players, and we're going to have to buy that kind of, not the finished articles that I know that a lot of Arsenal fans want, but we're going to have to unearth a lot of gems. Lucas Torreira was a gem, Guendouzi was a gem, and we're going to have to be doing a lot of the same thing with that this summer as well. And now Raul has kind of confirmed that, because in order to outsmart the market, we're going to have to be buying quality, like top, we're going to have to be buying either potential or good quality for a good price with good resale value. And I believe that Arsenal have the capacity to do it. Hopefully now that we have the right people in place to be able to execute that. And to the final 2 points, they talked about the culture of winning that they have. They also brought up the whole fact about Stan Kroenke and Josh Kroenke, talking about, they have a culture of winning with their other clubs over in the US, and they want to have Arsenal do the same thing there. They know that Arsenal isn't the finished product, and they know that there's a lot of work to be done. And like myself and all Arsenal fans, we know that there's a lot of work to be done. Now, instead of pumping a lot of money into the squad, it's said that that will not be the case. So finally, Vinai talked about the financial plan that Arsenal have kind of going forward. And I decided to write it verbatim, word for word, exactly what he said, because I did not want to get this wrong. So Vinai said, financial plan is every single penny can be reinvested into club so we can achieve our maximum ambition. That's the max that we can expect from our owners because of financial fair play. And that tells you all you need to know. We know that the club, every penny that we make as a club, every penny that we make from selling players is going to be reinvested into the squad. And that is it. The owners aren't going to put either extra money in there, or at least they're not going to put more money in there that exceeds what Arsenal traditionally make per season. It's just not going to happen. So, I mean, this is a bit of bad news, but at least we have a better idea on where the club is going. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are kind of below on part 1 of this interview. Leave your comments below. Let's get a kind of discussion going before part 2. And I will see you guys next time.